Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. MC Mora here, and today we have something very special because we are gonna review some of the comments made by Street Fighter V's game director and the combat director. They're gonna go over every character and talk about the development process. This is a Twitter thread that was translated by Scotia. I will leave a link to it in the pinned comment so that you can check it out. I will just review some of the ones that I found to be really interesting. Starting first with the first lady of fighting games, the #1 Shunner. And with Chun-Li, they're saying that they actually wanted to change the way Chun-Li played. And you can kind of see this in Street Fighter 6, where they gave her like the Serenity stance and made her more of a mix-up character who is pretty decent at footsies instead of just the footsies queen that she is in Street Fighter 5. They're saying that she had the aerial spinning bird kick, and we saw this in the reveal trailer, and also had like an Ibuki style slide attack. Obviously, they didn't make the final version. I would have kind of loved to see this, but I mean, we're getting the new Chun-Li in Street Fighter 6. Another one that I found to be really interesting was Cammy. And with Cammy, they're saying that initially Decabri was going to be in the starting roster instead of Cammy, but Cammy was replaced much later, or Cammy kinda replaced Decabri much later in the development process. So pretty much they're saying that Cammy was far too popular not to include in Street Fighter 5, at least at the start, right? And they kind of show you that they have also learned from the past, because during Street Fighter 5, the final character they revealed for the game was Fang. And people was like, what? Like, who's Fang? And, you know, they didn't get the reactions they wanted, and that's why in Street Fighter 6 they kind of held Cammy to be the final character to be revealed for the starting roster. Cammy was obviously way too popular. Now, because they added her late, they said that they kind of find it difficult to balance her out and give her like V skill and V trigger. You can kind of see it with Cammy. She was kind of a character that, you know, kind of put together. Obviously, visually, she looks fascinating, absolutely perfect. But yeah, her gameplay design, I think, could have been stronger. Another character and another comment that I found to be interesting was Ken. Because with Ken, they're saying that obviously they wanted to make him more focused on rushdown. But they're saying that his V-Skill 1 was very integral to his gameplay style, and that's why the creation of V-Skill 2 was very difficult. And you can kind of see it even to this day, where a lot of the Ken toolkit feels like it was designed with V-Skill 1 in mind. I feel like they really struggle to make V-Skill 2 good now. Obviously it is, but for the longest time I feel like it wasn't that great. So it's cool to see like what was going on behind the scenes. Another one that really caught my attention was Rashid, because with Rashid they're saying Rashid is the main character of the general story. We had decided that the main character would wear white, and in order to differentiate him from Ryu, we gave him a newer, more elegant white, while Ryu wore an older white. So pretty much Ryu wore like dirty clothes, while Rashid was a little bit more tidy. But I found it interesting. So it was like they designed Rashid from the get-go as the main character, but they never really marketed Rashid as the main character of the story. You can kind of see it now with Luke, and they're really pushing Luke, but Rashid never really got that pushed. The only way you can tell like Rashid is important to them is through his balancing. They have always made him good, but otherwise, yeah, nothing really interesting there. Now, they're also saying that he had way more moves out of his run. So his run, when you forward dash with Rashid, if you hold the forward, he will transition into a run, kind of like a KOF style. And they're saying that had like 6 different techniques, but ultimately they ended up with the spinning mixer and the eagle spike. I would have loved to see the more complicated Rashid, and maybe we will see this in Street Fighter 6, who knows, right? Another one that I found to be pretty interesting was Dhalsim, because they're saying they pretty much had fun with Dhalsim. We aimed for a landing point of not too strong, but with interesting moves that other characters don't have. So they never wanted Dhalsim to be top tier, they just wanted him to be interesting. We thought we achieved that during the development process, so we often submitted ideas along the line of, wouldn't it be fun to have a wider range of movement? But take a look at this last line, because this is where it gets very, very interesting. I regret, this is by the combat director by the way, I regret that we increased the firepower of EX Yoga Fire too much. So the game's directors, the developers behind the game are pretty much telling you, we messed up, we made EX Yoga Fire too OB, because that move is ridiculous. That move is just insane. Another character that I feel like we're gonna have to, talk about a lot is Juri, because there's a lot to talk about when it comes to Juri. Visually, they're saying that yes, Juri was censored, because as you may have guessed, she initially didn't have the black innerwear, but we had to change it after various people said it was too sexy. Now, yeah, this would have been too sexy, but I also think like Laura and R. Mika are in the game, and they're probably showing just as much, if not more cleavage. So who knows, but yeah, they had to censor how Juri would look. Now another thing that is very interesting is her gameplay, because Juri was one of the characters that drastically changed how she played. Now here they're saying that in Street Fighter 4, a lot of people found her difficult to control. She was very popular but hard to use, so they went for an easier execution. But instead of making you have to hold the buttons, kind of like manage it that way, they made it so that you have to manage resources. So the change to her gameplay was derived from her being way too popular for her difficulty in usage, which is just fascinating. Urien is another one that is really funny to me, because this comment by Nakayama-san is just hilarious. I wanted to make Urien wear only a loincloth, but due to various pressures, I had to put him in a suit. So initially they wanted to go with the Street Fighter 3 Urien design, but they couldn't really get it. But they kind of like let it slid in anyways with the hidden command, and they're saying that the change to his EX headbutt was one of the most difficult and most memorable changes during the game's life cycle. They didn't really know what to do with it now that they decided it wasn't gonna be an invincible reversal, and ended up on the direction of making it like a better offensive tool, very good for juggles and all of that. Another one that was very interesting to me was Minat. Because with Minat, they're saying that we intended to make the character easy to operate, but it turned out to be the exact opposite. Minat was designed in mind to be easy, but ended up being one of the hardest characters to use in the game. And this is kind of telling you that even if a character is designed in a way, it doesn't always pan out that way, right? And the combat director is saying something very interesting here. Minat's most iconic move is her V-Trigger 1. This technique, while very powerful, is difficult to operate. We wanted to let people try it out initially, so we released it as a 2 bars V-Trigger. But because it was such an unusual technique, we were almost already decided at that point to adjust it to a 3 bars V-Trigger in the future. So they're saying that they knew Minat's V-Trigger was very powerful as a 2 bars V-Trigger, but they found out that it was difficult and figured, alright, it's hard, but we won't be able to try it out, we won't be able to get good at it, so we will make it 2 bars so that people get to use it often. That's just fascinating. I never really think about it that way, that developers kind of balance the game out in a way that they want. Like, they want you to use this, so we're gonna make it very powerful. Probably is the reason that Luke ended up being the best character in Street Fighter 5, because they wanted to make him popular. Another comment that I found to be very interesting was Falk, and they're saying that the EX gunshot was like a last minute addition. That was just like an outlandish idea that they just threw out, like, let's make Falk a character that can just do the EX gunshot, and it ended up completely changing how she plays. So that is, that's kind of crazy. That is, in a way, that is kind of crazy. Another one that is also interesting to me is Poison, and they're saying that Poison and her techniques, like, they wanted to change how she plays, so they went for the whip And the challenge was to make the web visible and make her stand out from the different characters. And that's why Poison kinda got an update to her look. They wanted to shorten her hair so that the web would be more visible and give her an overall clean, uncluttered look. Again, something that I never really thought about. I never thought that they changed how Poison look because of her gameplay, because they wanted more focus on the web, right? This is just honestly some fascinating commentary. Here they're talking about Gil and how the challenge in making Gil was like coming up with a retribution mechanic and make him like feel right and unique and really exhilarating. Like they're saying exhilarating, the fun of connecting combos and exhilarating of landing big hits are like two things that Gil, like there's no other characters that's like Gil. I will let you read more of that. I will leave the link again. I will leave it in the pinned comment so that you can take a look at the whole thing. But I wanted to talk about my dude, the final character. For some reason, Scotia, the translator, kinda forgot about Cody. But what I find fun about Cody is that they're saying they didn't go for the mayor angle initially. He was just going to be in a t-shirt, but last minute they figured, alright, let's just go for the whole mayor gimmick and make Miss Marlowe, his secretary, the one that actually kinda give him the clothes and like make him that way pretty much. So Mayor Cody was not always a thing. And they're saying that there are several characters who have like their move change, and Cody obviously is built around his final fight version. And yeah, you can kind of see that from the target combos, the pipe and the knife and all of this. Fascinating stuff. Again, I will leave a link to it in the pinned comment. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like or a comment. It does help the channel so much. I will be leaving a link to the Patreon, Discord, Twitter and Twitch pages in the description. Discuss your character changes or like their commentary over them and what your thoughts on that. There are other ones that I found interesting, like Abigail. They wanted to make him bigger. They wanted to have Zeku like have the stance change from the start, but didn't really know like which move to make. Ed was designed to make him like a very easy character. Colleen was a hit and run character but ended up playing like a footsies. Akuma, they didn't know how to buff or how to make V-Skill 2, V-Trigger 2 work. There's a lot to go over there, but I want you guys to read it for yourself. I wouldn't spoil your fun. Thank you so much for watching and stay safe.